Happy Sunday, everybody. It's
Happy
4
Sunday.
p.m. It's 8 a.m. Mountain Time. Sam, you were in. So I wasn't sure you were joining us today. I know you're not feeling well. And we're back with the boys. It's the NFC West Show. Missed you
Sam
guys
had to
last
come
week.
gloat. Yep.
Yeah, you had to come in and gloat. You had to come in and gloat.
Yeah.
This week.
Need your volume up a little bit there, Bo.
Got me better.
Can't hear you too. Yeah, that a little better. Yeah. So welcome back, boys. Apologies for missing last week. I know, Sam, you were kind of busy up at Tottenham Stadium watching the game in London. I was kind of busy getting Joe Staley signing my shirt when he came to the 49ers official watch party. So
Nice.
it was beautiful. It was an amazing day for us. Great. The result, absolutely shocking. But, the evening itself was amazing. Sam, I'm sure you had lots of stories to tell about the Tottenham game. But yeah, welcome back, boys. Welcome to the NFC West Show. How you been?
Good.
Great to be here.
Yeah. So where do we start, Jay? Because should we start with Sam after his gloating, get his gloating out of the way, or should we start with how bad the Niners were? I mean, it's Sam, over to you, man.
We can start with Sam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to try and do too much talking because it's unfortunately after 3 years, COVID has finally got me, and I think it was London that did it. So
It probably was.
Oh,
It probably
wow.
was.
So, yeah. After what I suppose they're great to get a victory. I think being 3-3 after 6 is probably it's exceeded my expectations. I think I said that we were, 5-12 was I think my prediction, and I already think we're going to exceed that. So,
Yeah.
I'm happy with
Looks
how
like it.
it's gone. I mean, I think I expected us to win. I think the first half we were asleep. We seemed to be going through this pattern of being really slow starters and deciding in the second half that we're actually going to turn it on and turn out to be the team that probably a lot of us probably not as good as the team from a couple of years ago, but certainly better than last year. So yeah, I think there's a lot of positives that I took from last week. I think obviously Stafford I think he's been ranked now as on a lot of the power rankings is up as high as 4th in the QB rankings, which I think is unbelievable. But overall, I just thought it was a really sort of solid performance. Like I say, a slow start, but that second half just sort of managed the game well. The big throw just before the half to Cooper Kupp was obviously opened the game up, and I just think solid performance against what we've seen all season, a very gutsy Cardinals team. And I think watching them play properly yesterday for the first time from my perspective was seeing them like they were. You can see why they are it's exactly what we talked about before the season. They're gutsy, they're putting in the performances, and they're really trying, and it's good to see.
Right.
Especially Dobbs performing the way he has, which I don't think anyone really fully expected.
Not literally walking off the plane from Cleveland like 3 days before the season. I don't think anybody saw him performing in this way. And it's interesting what you say there, Sam, about the slow start. And then do you think that's just McVay kind of tweaking his playbook accordingly, or just giving it getting the team, everybody a touch, and then kind of going, okay, these are the ones that are working, and then he kind of cranks it up?
I'm not too sure, because I mean it's like if you look at the way we played. Well, I think I can't remember the actual stats, but we didn't run the ball that much in the first half at all.
I'll give you stats.
In the
Jason's got them. Wait for it. Jason's just going to go.
And then the first 8 or 9 plays in the second half were all run plays.
9 of 10 on that first drive to open the second half.
Which and we walked 75 yards almost. Like, it was to go that second half and just sort of bring that out. It begs to question, like, does McVay see us as a passing team and uses the running as that surprise second half offense, or does he just trust Matt Stafford to get where he needs to, and then you just use the running game as that alternative? I just don't understand whether, because it's not a new concept, us starting slow. We've started slow for the last 3-4 years, but
It's usually a bit more balanced slow, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's not all pass or all run. It's an odd one that he's using the pass to open the run game, which seems, anathema to anyone who's watched football for any amount of time. It's always, establish the run to open the play action and open the passing game. But he seems to be bombing it all over the place and then going to the run in the second half. But maybe it's a clock management issue. I don't. It's a strange. It's definitely a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Well,
But, I mean, it worked.
Oh, for sure. Watching that game, though, I couldn't help but think of Sam's statement to start the season when he said that Sean McVay was the best coach in the NFC West. And I think you said it wasn't close.
I think he was quite bullish about it. Yeah.
He was very bullish about it. And, actually, you've scored 27 points this year on opening drives. That's second in the NFL. So you actually score to open games. Okay. Sunday was the first time you didn't score on an opening drive. So our defense that first half played great. Sean McVay did nothing but help us. He helped us so much. He called, you don't know how many runs in the first half. Three running plays in the first half. You were never really down. You were never really out of it. We were always outmatched. You had Cup, you had Puka back. You had a full squad. For some reason, he got down 3, and it was like he was down 21, and it was pass. And Stafford did not have a very good first half at all. We helped tremendously with keeping that score. At the end of the first half, what was it, 9-6?
No.
It really felt like a 14, 17-point game, right? We played so bad. We put Xavius White, a middle linebacker, on, I don't know, Cooper Kupp. Who would do that? Why would you put? And this was that play you were talking about, that opening drive. I think it was like 29 or 39 yards, right, to Cooper Kupp, where he just did that outright and just outran the middle linebacker. And we consistently put White on Cooper Kupp. Again, why would you put a middle linebacker? They even said it in the telecast, if you're going to disrespect our athletic guys by putting middle linebackers on them. Yeah. Stafford had a real hard time finding them in the first half, getting on that same groove. And no, you know what? You're not the Chiefs. You're not Patrick Mahomes. You're not Josh Allen. You can't come out like that. You run to set up the pass. That's Sean McVay's mindset. You guys are so good at running the ball. Then everybody woke up, and Sean McVay became that phenomenal, great coach that we all know he can be. In that second half, 9 runs on a 10-play drive. So they ran it down our throat in the second half. It's almost like Jonathan Gannon made a deal, our coach, with Michael Bidwell, our owner. And Bidwell said, I know this is going to happen. I'm making fun, but I'm sure Bidwell was like, look, I want that pick. I don't want a tank, but I want that pick, okay? And Jonathan Gannon's like, well, I want to show the world how I can coach. So they came up with a compromise. For half the game, Jonathan Gannon's going to coach, and then the second half of the game, we're going to tank. I know it's not like that, but
it feels like that for you guys, because it does seem like
it feels like that for me. And it's evident. This is the case with every game. Today is no different. The Jimmys and Joes for the other team are just better than our Jimmys and Joes. It doesn't matter about X's and O's. Jonathan Gannon can do X's and O's all day long. The Jimmys and Joes that the Rams have, the Seahawks have, the Niners have, it's just better. So it's nice, Dan, like you said, to open. We're seeing those pieces, right? A la San Fran 2018, I think, when you won 3 games that year. You saw the building blocks. You saw the pieces. Now we're getting healthy. We're getting guys like Buddha back today. I think we're going to get Jalen Thompson back next week. We're getting Garrett Wilson. I think he was a second-round draft pick a couple of years ago, cornerback that we desperately need in that secondary. And guess who's knocking? Guess who you can hear coming? His name's Kyler Murray.
That little happy tappy feet are coming, right?
You know the size of that chip that's on his shoulder? It's probably the size of him. And so I got into a little Twitter beef in the last couple of weeks with a guy, and this seems like this is, I hope it's the silent or, the vocal minority, but it seems like everybody almost wants Kyler, or at least thinks he's going to fail. He's not going to do it. I got sent videos of the quarterback coach working with him on his footwork his first day back to practice. Like, yeah, you know how many plays
Yeah.
he's taken under center as an NFL Cardinal in his career, Kyler Murray?
3 or something.
9.
9.
9 plays. So, yeah, that footwork is completely different running an offense out of the gun than from under center. Play action. Play action. Tell me play action is not different when you're in the gun.
You're turning
opposed
your
to
back on the
under.
defense. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Play
So,
action under a gun, and when you're putting it there and then going pulling it back is completely different. Yeah. So it's not
yeah,
surprising he's working his footwork. He has to, as you say. It's a new thing for him. And if he's been out
absolutely.
with a knee
And,
injury,
yep.
you're
You
going to
got
be
to get that
rusty.
muscle memory. You got to get those muscles around. Of course, absolutely. So I thought that was ridiculous. And you know,
It's a typical Twitter hot take, though, right?
and Dobbs again. I think the Cardinal fans are starting to calm down on this, but it was for a couple of weeks there. Get rid of Kyler. Dobbs is better. Really? He's been here, like you said, for a cup of coffee, right? It was actually 17 days before game 1, but he was in the building. He didn't take a snap, and we throw him out there. He looked, I don't want to say look good. He looked very surprising because we expected. It's like going to a movie where you don't expect it to be good or bad, and it blows you away, right?
Yeah.
We didn't expect anything out of Josh Dobbs. So what we got out of him, we're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then as the season materialized and opened up, we realized Dobbs is really
okay.
I don't want to say bad, between bad and okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks,
But he's better than
less than 50. He's completed
so
less
much
than
better than what you were
50% of his
expecting.
practice passes the last 2 games. Less than 50%. Bo can complete more than 50% of his passes. That's ridiculous. His target, he's all over the place. He is not a very accurate thrower. I can't tell because I'm not smart enough, so I don't know if Dobbs doesn't know how to read a defense or if he doesn't trust his eyes. But if that first option isn't open, he's checking down and running. Because, again, I don't know if he's having a problem reading or if he's not trusting what he's saying, but something ain't working.
I mean, there's a reason why he hasn't been a starting quarterback anywhere else, really. There's a reason why he hasn't. So
absolutely.
He was, I think,
and there's a reason why Cleveland were happy to let him go, right? When they
like I think people need to, and this is where I think people get a bit overzealous about things. It's like at the end of the day, he was always an option. He was a stopgap until Kyler came back. And to be honest,
absolutely,
you're going to want someone who's going to play a similar game to Kyler, because that's you don't want the offense to be learning one way and then having to Kyler's back, we'll learn back the old way. So what he's done is he's brought in essentially someone who is like Kyler, but realistically 10 times worse. Like
Gannon brought in his Drew Stanton. Bruce Arians brought in Drew Stanton to back up Carson Palmer because Drew Stanton knew the offense. Okay, but was at a similar play. Same thing here. They brought in Dobbs because he knows the offense and he's going to be a decent backup. He's going to be a poor man's Drew Stanton. And hey, I'm fine with him being a backup. But
he's a competent backup, and he's proven that as you say, maybe your eyes and the Cardinals fans were like,
he's got to get better at reading defenses.
Isn't that bad? So your eyes all lit up, and you're like, hey, well, but because your expectations were so low, so what you actually got seemed good, and you're like, hey, keep this.
That was the big problem. Everyone was expecting the Cardinals to be bad, like very, very bad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're surprising teams by being in games. Yes, you're still not winning. Yes, you're 1-5, but you're giving teams a game a lot more than what people were expecting.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people have, maybe some of the Cardinal fans have seen that and gone, maybe Dobbs is the answer. And it's like, no, he's just doing okay.
He's just doing okay, better than what you thought you would.
Yeah, he's exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
That's it.
But literally of a low expectation level. Sorry, Marco.
No, you're good. We watched this movie before. Like the Hawks did it last year. Everybody assumed they were going to have the number 1 overall pick. There's something that's great about the NFC West is nobody wants to lose. They're like, oh, you count us out? That's cute. We're still going to play hard. Like, so
they're still going to turn the number 3, team in the league, and give Dallas a whooping. It's because nobody saw that coming, and it's that kind of stuff, right? It's
Yeah,
and it's things like that that's so promising when you see this Cardinal coaching staff. They can coach. They can coach, man. I mean, so that X's and O's part is phenomenal. And another great stat that I heard on Sunday, we've started the same 5 offensive linemen every game this season. Sorry guys.
Wow.
So after a season like last year, only Sam can complain more than I can about injuries to that front line. But after a year like last year, and now we're in week 7, and we've had the same starting 5. So extremely
just
promising.
Build momentum and build.
Once we get that talent and improved on that 53 man, look out. But the talent's pretty rancid right now.
It's not a nice place. You know it's coming, and it's not a nice place to be sitting in. But
you love the effort you're seeing on Sundays. You love how hard they're playing. You love the fact that they're buying in. Again, just some of the matchups. Again, putting a middle linebacker on Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua absolutely blows my mind, and we did that over and over and over. So I think, and Zaven Collins, if you remember a couple of years ago, was our first round draft pick. Zaven Collins, that typical middle linebacker, we stuck him in that mic, give him the green dot. He's like 6'5", 265, like guy's just yoked. Well, they decided this year to move him to outside linebacker and try him there. White to me is a better outside, or Zaven Collins is a better middle linebacker. If you want to give White the green dot, fine, give the off back or the outside linebacker the green dot. But I just feel like Collins is better in coverage. Again, you never want to put a middle linebacker on a guy like Cooper Kupp with that skill set. But if I do, I want a lengthier, bigger guy. Hopefully I can put my hands on him. Probably not, but at least I have that huge
get the leverage.
Absolutely. So, White looked horrible in coverage. I mean, Cooper's going to do that to everybody, though.
Especially a linebacker. He's going to make everybody look ugly.
And he looked.
Want to do that against ASN, that'd be great.
Well, see, I mean, Cooper Kupp's been doing it to the best cornerbacks in the league, so he's going to do it to everyone. And
sees a linebacker lining up against him. He's like, throw me the ball, right?
Exactly. He's been doing that against everybody. QB1s in the league, CB1s. Why would you put a middle linebacker on him over and over?
Well, you hope they learned from today's game, though, right, Jace? Because you're hoping they're not putting a middle linebacker on Tyler Lockett or something. That's again asking for absolute.
Well,
am I right in saying there's no DK today?
Is he questionable? The last I heard, he was questionable. I don't know if
he's questionable. From what it sounds like, he's supposed to play.
Oh, is he? Just because someone that I've spoken to, another Seahawks fan, has said that he is almost ruled out because apparently you've taken someone off your practice squad to wide receiver practice squad. I don't know how much knowledge is in that, but that's just what I've heard.
Yeah,
I just read that he got a flag thrown on him for unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary roughness to the door coming into the stadium.
The game hasn't even started yet. That's incredible.
He kicked a trash can on the way in.
Yeah, smacked it from the blind side when he wasn't looking. Yeah.
Oh man, that stuff is so painful as a fan. Like if he could just figure out how to be less crazy.
Didn't we have this conversation too? Bo, didn't we have this conversation 2 weeks ago? Exactly this conversation about
every time DK gets a penalty, I think of Bo. I'm like, Bo.
You could just imagine Bo just going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
The thing,
and they're always the same. They're always the same.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is he doesn't learn anything. Like I actually don't mind if you have a holding call or an OPI, right?
Sure.
Part of the game. Fair enough. But if you're getting unsportsmanlike conducts and taunting like every other game, what are we doing? Like that is mental mistakes. Like that's not through the scheme of the game. That's just you aren't playing smart. Yeah, and that is absolutely frustrating.
Right?
Do you think Pete Carroll goes into every game now just thinking, right, we're gonna give up a penalty, 15-yard penalty,
right?
So that's the worst part is you're going into it conceding that one of your drives just isn't going to happen. We're going to be like, oh, cool.
He's going to stall. Kill it.
When we just punt, like it's brutal.
And that's what gets me. I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and we thought, how long do the Seahawks coaching staff put up with it?
And are they giving him?
Is he getting the green light to kind of go carry on, DK?
Is he getting the Russell Wilson treatment that treated with kid gloves treatment over there?
Yeah, is he getting the whole velvet? You're our superstar, and therefore you can do.
I will say yes, and I'll tell you why. Because this is a troubling stat. Also, why I said even before the season that, realistically, they may want to move on from him because they could get, maybe 2 1s or a 1 and a 2. I mean, they could get some draft capital.
Isn't that crazy? You just said that about one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's an absolute freak. He's a mismatch any day of the week. And you just said that, not because of his play, but because of his frustrating penalties. Isn't that's crazy?
It's a bit like just sorry before you get. It's a bit like the whole Stephon Diggs situation. Like, look at what happened with him, and before the Vikings and all of the issues that he had there, and then they moved him on, and he's now starting to repeat those at the Bills, and it's like it doesn't matter how good a talent you are if you're going to constantly be creating the same issues wherever you go.
Yeah. AJ Brown. Antonio Brown.
Yeah, exactly. He could be running off the field.
He'll be. I'm not sure he's going to get stripped down in Seattle because it's it's a little colder than it was in Tampa. But you could see it happening, right? You could see it because it's a pattern. It must be. Yeah. Sorry.
This is the worst part of this. So, like, if there was a trend that made me think it was getting better, then you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So 2019, he has 2 flags. Or 2 accepted flags for 30 yards, which means those were both 15-yarder stupid penalties, right? Because the only penalties that are 15 yards are dumb. It means you are being stupid on the field.
Yeah.
So now, granted, he did actually have 5 flags thrown on him that year. So then you go to 20, he has 3 accepted. 21, he has 4 accepted, 7 total. 22, he has 7 accepted, 8 total, and through 5 games, he has 4 flags. So he's on pace to have double digits, which means he's getting worse at what he's doing every year. And then when you think of the fact that he came out in a press release saying, I'm not going to change my game. Well, now you have refs that are going to call him even tighter because they know he's going to be dumb. And he's admitted, like, hey, I know I'm dumb. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm good enough to get away with it.
Very selfish. Very selfish.
And that's the problem. It's like, okay, well, now you have a guy, elite talent, no doubt. But if he's going to cost you at least 1 drive a game, risk to reward, it's not there because he still drops easy balls. Like, he'll make that one-handed miraculous touchdown catch, whatever, but then he'll drop one that hits him square in the numbers down.
He'll drop a 5-yard slant or something, and it'll just can't be bothered with that one.
Like, at this point, with as much as you're paying him and as much of a problem as he becomes, I mean, do you pull the trigger and pick up a couple of draft picks? Because if the Hawks have been able to prove they are good at doing anything, it's drafting talent.
Yep, absolutely.
And, you've got, you drafted a receiver last year that you've barely used so far. I know he's not the same, obviously, same big-bodied freak as you say, Jay, but DK just mismatches everywhere across the board. Doesn't matter who you put on him. He's one of those freak athletes that every team would want without all of this.
Sure.
Well, and that's why
absolutely.
You get 2 1s, right?
Yeah, you could
2 1s for him, and
you'd get a coach out there going, "I can fix him."
Exactly. Absolutely. The Raiders would do it.
There's plenty of teams out there that would take him for a good price. But I think, and like we've said, the problem that he's going to have is if he keeps this up. Like, fair enough if he was maintaining, under 5 a season, you could accept that with the output that he gives. But the fact that, like you say, he's increasing year upon year to the point where he's on track to reach double digits. We're talking like 150 yards plus in a season of affecting your team. That's not acceptable for anyone. And if he wants to go to a better team, well, not necessarily a better team, but maybe a team that's at the moment challenging for those rings, looking at, Eagles, Niners,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. You look at the coaches that are in those teams, they're not going to take that.
No.
And that's the problem that he's going to have.
It'll be the Raiders. It'll be
the Raiders. It'll be DK and Javonte at the Raiders. I mean, what a great... I mean, as you look at a wide receiver 1-2 combo, wow. But then you go, but also, wow. Right?
Yeah. That's
Well,
exactly
and
right.
it's historically generally one of the most penalized teams, so they'd even embrace it.
Yeah,
They'd be like,
lean into it. Yeah,
do lots of dumb stuff. Cool. That's what we.
That fits right into our culture.
that's why we wear silver and gold, silver and black,
And
right?
you could also get arrested. You'd be the prime guy.
Oh.
Talking of getting arrested, Darian Kendrick got arrested, didn't he?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. A cornerback. Yeah. He got
And in the same
possession of a gun in this car, right?
and cannabis, yeah. But also, and on the flip side of it, we had one of our players get attacked at gunpoint for thousands worth of jewelry. So, you know,
Wow, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was who was it? Was it Fuller maybe? But yeah, it was one of the players. So they came out within like the space of like a couple of days. You had obviously Darian Kendrick arrested for possession of it. I think the difference was it was a possession of an illegal firearm. I think it was more than anything.
Right, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Those are usually because you can have a gun in your car in the States.
Yeah. Whereas I think his was a concealed weapon that he didn't. It was an illegal.
He didn't have a permit, right, for it or something like that. Yeah.
And then obviously the cannabis on top.
Cannabis on top would just be even more fun.
Yeah. So obviously, I think I just found that so like odd that he got arrested for having a gun, but then one of our players got held at gunpoint and robbed at gunpoint for thousands of pounds worth of jewelry that was on him. So, you know, both sides of it has happened. So
it's harsh. Yeah. Right, looking forward, Sam. You've got the Steelers this week.
Yeah.
Coming to SoFi. How are you feeling? You know, the Steelers have been bad.
Yeah.
I was going to try and wrap it up, but they've been bad.
Yeah, no.
I think the Steelers are a weird one because, like, I think I saw a really, really crazy stat that after their bye week, which obviously they've just had their bye week, they have a ridiculously good win rate, and it's almost like as if they have the bye week and things become better. So I'm optimistically cautious about it because, you know, knowing that from that side is how good they can be, well, how good they are record wise after. You know, I'd like to think we could beat them, but
yeah, Tomlin's on that. It's getting to that stage, right, where Tomlin's team start needing to win to keep his, above 500 average. I'm not sure what the Steelers' record is right now. Is it 2
3 and 2?
So okay, it's actually better than I actually thought it was.
Yeah. So
for a team that's not great in the AFC, that's quite a.
It'll be an interesting game. I think their teams. I think that if I think from what I've read, TJ Watt is going to be fit to play, and I think that's going to be, if we can double team him the whole game like everyone does to Aaron Donald against us, we can just double up on him, triple up on him, do whatever you can to stop him. Then I think we should we should go through fine. I think obviously we don't have Kyron Williams, we don't have Ronnie Rivers this week. We're having to go with the Darrell Henderson.
Yeah,
he's back. We've got,
I think that's going to work very good for you, though.
Yeah, so we've got the two starting running backs will be Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson, with Zach Evans supporting both of those. Gaskin, I believe, is not fit to play just yet, but they reckon he might be available for the next week. So it'd be interesting.
I think that's an interesting Sean McVay pick too. The Gaskin, I would keep an eye on that. That kind of fits exactly what Sean wants to do offensively, right? So that was an interesting pickup. I kind of like that for you.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to work out how we're going to. Obviously, I think the ultimate game will be to probably do similar to what we did with the Cardinals. Probably try and throw it around. If that doesn't work, go to the run game and just try and use a. Because I mean, when Darrell Henderson was out a couple of years ago, I thought he was really good. Like when he played, he always looked like a bulldozer who'd run through the lines and and we let him go for whatever reason, and hasn't worked out from anywhere else, and he's come back. So maybe this will be the resurgence of Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, you're renowned for having running backs come back out of the Cole, don't you? So you never know. Henderson might be your, guy for this
I mean,
year.
I'm sad to obviously not see that Kyron Williams went down injured. I think he's been brilliant this season, but
Mm.
I think he's sort of
Absolutely.
our RB1 going forward anyway. But I think it'll be an interesting game. I can't see it being high scoring, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get over the line and win.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be high scoring. Just it seems like the Pittsburgh offense is a bit disjointed, and I'm not sure if I think
Right.
Warren's now becoming their RB1 over Harris, which baffles me completely. But
Well,
it seems to be the way they're going. So I can't
Deontay
see.
Johnson's back as well this week, so
But that's okay. So he won't catch a touchdown pass.
no.
yeah.
I think he caught one this year, though. Right? He's already. I think after last year.
He's been on. I know he's been on IR, so I don't know if that's stopped him. But there's the return of Alan Robinson as well. See if he can get some sort of redemption on his return.
Or just do anything, any game, like
just
at
turn up
all.
and do something. Yeah.
Jeez. He's one of those like asking, like, oh wait, he's still in the league.
Yeah.
He's still bouncing around, right? He's still going.
he's still on a roster.
Yeah.
But hey, they managed it, and Allen's in a different category. He was, once very good. But Miles Guy, he's that guy that you're surprised that he's on it, but he's always on a 53 man. So yeah. I think you guys win in a close game today.
Yeah, maybe sort of a 3-point difference or.
Yeah, I just don't think like Gary said, I don't think Pittsburgh has the offense to fly all the way across the country, play in LA and I mean I there's probably going to be more Steelers fans there than Rams fans, but I don't think that team's going to give him anything to cheer about. So I think Sean McVay is going to coach a much better game, actually coach for 60 minutes instead of 30. And you're going to see that run game established big time against the Pittsburgh defense. It's actually really good. I think, especially when they play Cleveland.
Yeah. They're holding. Yeah, I mean, the defense is keeping them in game. So yeah, you're going to have to scheme. You're going to have to be clever with that. And as you say, I think the run game is going to be important for you guys to establish that. You can't sling it around a bit, otherwise it could be a bloodbath. Both sides of the ball. And then we've got the divisional matchup. Jay, how you feeling? Traveling.
Man, what's this? 3 of the last 4 games about NFC West divisional matchups. We've played well at Lumen Fields, right? 5-3 in our last 8. And the Bruce Arians run. I felt like we couldn't lose in Seattle at all.
Yeah.
But we're on a little bit of a losing streak. I think we've lost 3 there. Our last 3 we played in Seattle. So again, we don't have the pieces that other teams have. I think you're going to see a very similar, game script from us as far as playing tough, playing smart, keeping it close. We'll probably score first. We'll probably be up in the first half, and then you guys will just pull away with it in the second half. But let's keep it close. I think we're definitely going to cover the spread. I think the spread's 9.5.
Oh, I think it was covered.
Yeah, the spread was insane. Like, there's no way. You guys have covered the spread basically all year. I mean, the line on that was insane.
Except for the Rams game, yeah.
Rams, you got a bit blue out there, but yeah.
So,
but who's your running back to this week? Have you got? Because Connor's obviously down with.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing with Ingram and
Damian Williams.
DeMarcado.
Yeah,
DeMarcado. Wasn't it Williams was back?
They've signed him back from the practice squad. They brought him back, so we'll see if he gets elevated today. But again, yeah, I think it's that 3-headed monster. Just waiting for Connor to get back.
And Bo, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean,
off the bye, you guys are healthier.
Well, so we lost to the Bengals this last week off the bye, but the biggest thing is we still don't have an offensive line that's healthy. So we haven't had the same 5 guys at all this year. And, this last week we get Cross back and they tried to go back to just using a traditional offensive line. And, it wasn't great. Right. So hopefully they learn from that and go back to using some of our tight ends to help with that interior of the offensive line. That they ran some, prior to the bye week where they had 3 tight ends in the game. 2 of them lined up directly to the right of Geno just to help open up gaps and stuff. So, I mean, if they can run stunts like that, then I feel good about where we're at. If they are going to rely on our third string tackles to keep Geno upright, man, it's going to be a long day because you guys do have a decent defense. And, it's a game that could get ugly if they can't keep Geno, at least kind of clean. Like let him catch the ball before he gets hit.
Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. And as you say, Jay, if you get Buda Baker back today, then that's going to make your defense a different thing for
absolutely. I mean, he's the heart and soul of our team. I mean, it's not Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is the face of our franchise, but make no mistake about it, Buda Baker is our team. He's that heart and soul. So to get him back, and it kind of slides everybody back. We're going to get Jalen back next week, but to get Buda back this week and to have Garrett Wilson, a guy that we drafted very high, cornerback, coming back today, I think that's going to help that defense out tremendously. I do think Seattle needs to play a smart game, and they have to establish that run and show us that they can actually run the ball. Because before the Rams game, we were actually, surprisingly, we were 5th in the league in sacks at 19. So we can't get after the quarterback. It's not one guy. I think the guy leading our team in sacks is Dennis Gardeck, which nobody's heard about it. Dennis Gardeck's family outside of that. But, we get at you at various points, that D line, that corner, or the linebackers. So Rollins does a great job of and he's done a great job, very impressive job of keeping that defense together. He just has to show he can do it for 60 minutes.
Yep.
But again, it almost feels like, I don't want to say that, it almost feels like he's not getting out coached. You're just seeing that talent over 60 minutes rise. That other team has more talent, except for the
eventually just
Cowboys
comes through.
game.
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, I like what I'm seeing. The guys, I've bought in completely, and so we're playing tough, but it's going to be tough. Yeah.
Yeah. As you say, it's a tough year. You expected it to be tough, but you're seeing shoots of recovery. You're seeing great things, but you're still going to be painful to watch because at the end it's still going to end up a higher number in that L column.
Absolutely.
I'm curious what you guys are going to do lining up for JSN because of the way you guys approached Cup. That'll be interesting to see how it is you try and combat JSN, because I think you can effectively double team DK, right? And Lockett is Lockett. He's going to get separation. He's going to get yards,
right.
But he doesn't get yards after catch, right? Like,
he doesn't kill you with that sort of after the catch thing. Yep.
Exactly. That's just not an element of his game. Whereas JSN, if you guys are going to put a linebacker on him, that could be a very real mismatch today.
Hey, I think it's going to be game script oriented, right? I mean, it depends. Are we going to run nickel packages, dime packages? Gannon likes to stay in his base package. He really doesn't like the blitz often. And hopefully we're not lining up a linebacker. It's a nickel or a dime corner, but we'll see. No, but it doesn't. No, not typically. You're typically going to see, you're probably going to, hopefully you'll see like a safety come down and guard him, and not Buddha, not your strong.
Don't want a strong safety there, yeah.
So, but we'll see. I mean, Gannon, sometimes you see him on the sidelines, and he gets a lot of stuff for just crap, for whenever the camera goes to him, he's like this.
Yeah, just like nothing. Just like, come on, show them something. Yeah.
So some of that can be looked at as kind of arrogant, and then you're putting a middle linebacker on Cooper Kupp, like, what are you doing? And then they pan over to JG. It's like, okay.
Is it arrogance, or is it, what else have I got? This I'm playing with chess pieces which are objectively broken.
Right. I'm trying the best I can to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sticking plasters over holes here, and I got to use that guy. It's the best I've got.
And that's what I think it is. Yeah. And another thing I want to say, because we just we cut another Majay Sanders, a linebacker that we drafted a couple of years ago, pretty high up. You know, obviously we cut Isaiah Simmons. People love to dogpile on Steve Keim, and I get it. You know, Steve Keim is a very bad name here in Arizona, okay, our ex-GM. And he wasn't great at drafting. But just because we release a guy like Isaiah Simmons, Majay Sanders, does not mean it was a bad draft pick or that he lacks talent. Isaiah Simmons is extremely talented. He got picked up right away. And once they learn how to use him and unlock that, whatever, he's going to be Majay Sanders is a great football player. He's going to catch on somewhere and be a consistent, good quarterback a la Acho for us, something like that. But it doesn't mean that it was a bad quote unquote pick or, Keim again misevaluated the talent. No, it's not fitting our system. And all those guys that we really see, everyone said we were taking it. Not one of them has gone on another squad and we've regretted.
No.
And it's just performing over their skis. And not one of those releases,
I wish we still had him now. Yeah.
Do we regret? Every single one, we're like, okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, yeah, makes sense. And the more Monty, Osenfort, and Gannon do that and get this 50, the more we trust them. Hey, I trust these guys. I trust them. They know what they're doing. And they're getting guys that buy into the system. And that was the talk when they released Majay Sanders, was he just wasn't a good fit. He didn't really buy in. Guys, he didn't play. He just came off the IR and was activated last week. So it was definitely attitude. He's not buying in. I want guys to buy in.
Yeah.
You got to love that.
Yeah. And as you say, if he's just come off IR and he's just been activated and you're already saying he's not buying in, he's not getting it, then it's down to he's being disruptive, he's not going, whatever it is, it's a locker room issue. And a team like, in the position you guys are in, you can't have any toxicity, you can't have any negativity, because
absolutely
there's going to be enough coming from outside. What you need is that core of players going, right, we're in this, we know what's going on. Out we go. Let's, and so
I think that's why it's so smart to bring a guy in like Josh Dobbs, who he can weather the noise, he can the storm. He's bought in completely. And I will say this about Dobbs, because I'm critical of him from a QB standpoint perspective, but Josh Dobbs is a very good leader, and he's a very good guy, like not rah guy, but just guy that is about the team, the Arizona Cardinals. And you can just tell that about Josh. Dobbs is not about Dobbs. I feel like Dobbs is about the Arizona Cardinals. So, again, another smart strategic chess move to bring another guy in here, capable of backup, but buys in completely. And that's what you need from top to bottom, right?
I think I mean, this sort of, I suppose, is going on around, talking about DK's attitude that within games, obviously, is more of his discipline, but also looking at other players. I mean, the reason we got rid of Akers was purely because he didn't care for the team. He cared for himself, and he that's all he wanted. And
crazy talent.
Yeah, he is. And
has he carried the ball in Minnesota yet?
He got. He's got a couple.
We're going to find out on Monday.
We're going to find out. Yeah.
I think he got. Was it 9 snaps?
Yeah, they're splitting between him and Madison.
I wouldn't be surprised if Akers is the RB1 by season's end over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got 9 snaps in the last game.
The thing that's funny is they're not using the running back. Like they
I think we said that when they drafted him, is like when they got Madison, now they got Akers, and they ran it, 37 times in the first 4 games or something.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely ludicrous. So this last game they had I want to say it's like 46 yards. Let me look. I mean, they're just not using the running game, despite having talent and the ability to run the ball. Like it's not like they have.
If that would go up. I suppose I was going to say, I wonder if that'd go up now that JJ's on IR, but he's been on IR now for 2 weeks, and
2 weeks. Yeah,
it's not changed massively. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it's not popping up here.
Yeah, and just checking in with the injury reports. Obviously, Debo being out for a few weeks. So he's going to be out until at least after the bye. So that's not great for us. Although he's not really been showing up since he got his new contract for us, stats-wise. I mean, stats-wise, he's not been doing it, but he's obviously been on the field and putting his body on the line, but he's not really been lighting up the stats and doing stuff like that. The more worrisome, Jay, as we mentioned right at the beginning, what's the one injury that we cannot afford?
Is he going to play today?
He's still high ankle, questionable day to day.
I would rest that, yeah.
I would
but
put
yeah,
him.
that's the one guy. And you know what? Saying it's fun. It's funny and comical to watch the games with San Fran fan. I'm sure San Fran Nation was freaking out. Listen, you're 3 feet away from being undefeated.
Yeah.
You didn't play your best game. You lost.
Terrible game.
You lost every
Terrible
guy under the sun. Hey, give Cleveland's defense some credit. That's a great defense. Which I want to talk about Kyler Murray coming back here in a second. But you're 3 feet away from being undefeated. For whatever reason, you decided to kind of get cheap at that kicker position. If behind the quarterback, I think the most crucial position on your roster should be your kicker. And you guys got really cheap, cut a veteran, right?
Yeah. Who wanted a big bag. He did want a lot of money.
Well, everybody else was getting a big bag over there. So, I mean, why not? Why get cheap at that position? And that's why you don't get cheap at those positions. So, but I think San Fran's going to be just fine. It's a blip on the screen. It's no big deal. Debo doesn't concern me. Hey, Debo, get right. Chris McCaffrey, and people talk about that offense now is completely different with McCaffrey out and Purdy. No, it's not. It's still Shanahan knows how to run a zone run offense, and he's going to be just fine. Elijah Mitchell and company, they're going to hold down that backfield to Christian. I'm sure Christian's going to play today, actually. But,
I'm sure he'll come in and he'll get his one touchdown or get out because he wants to keep that streak going. But I think get him in and out.
I'm impressed with his grittiness. How tough he is. It's a pain management issue. That cartilage, that rib cartilage is a pain management issue.
There's nothing you can do in terms of treatment. It's just that's going to hurt. How much can you take? Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Gary, we were looking. You might have seen it in the group that was mentioned. One of the WhatsApp chats they're in, and they shared the stats for Debo this year so far.
Yeah.
And I think he's taken 30 receptions and only managed, was it like 200 yards?
Yeah, he's barely.
It was 20 receptions for 302 yards and 1 touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because that was Debo, and you look at it and you just think, well, compared to all the other players, I mean, obviously Ayuk's probably now your wide receiver 1. I think
Ayuk was always.
That was never a question. Brandon Ayuk has always been the best receiver over there.
Yeah. So I think it's if I had a choice of losing Debo or Ayuk or say for example like McCaffrey and all of those. For
Debo's
that offense, Debo's the one you could probably not worry
all day long.
There's also a reason why they tried to use him mostly as a running back the year before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, A, we didn't have a running back, but B, we needed, he is that freak of nature, like you say, DK, but he's not as fast as DK. So he's smaller, chunky. He's center of gravity is lower. His ability to break tackles.
He's the perfect line run running back. That's what he is. Yeah. He's the build of a running back, but with he's a running back that's just playing wide receiver.
That's what he is. He's not. He doesn't fit in that mold. So as a player that we could afford to swap out and sit on the bench and get right for a few weeks. Debo.
I think probably what I would be more worried about, and you might be able to confirm because I haven't seen anything, I haven't really followed it too closely, is obviously Trent Williams has not practiced, limited or not at all this week.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be fit to play? Because for me, he's the key for your
absolutely.
He's the key for all of it, for the run blocking, as you say, the zone run and stuff like that. And it all goes behind our left tackle because why wouldn't it, right? He's kind of like the best player in football.
Left tackle in football.
The best left tackle in the league.
So everything runs behind him. Or he's the guy who's out there on the screens. He's the guy who's trapping around. And, Shanahan schemes him into run plays. We all remember the Green Bay. Let's get him in motion. How unfair that was. So not having that anchor there, and I know reading about it, he should really have come out in the Cleveland game. but he went back in because he didn't want to put the rookie up against Myles Garrett, which take him onto the team, as you say, and all that. But
Myles Garrett was making some big plays, and yes, okay, Trent was injured, well, partly injured or was injured. To still do what he did against the best left tackle in the league, just shows how good he is as an individual. But yeah, I mean, is he gonna be fit? I suppose that's my question. Is he gonna be fit for the game?
He won't be 100%. He'll probably say he could play.
This is a game he doesn't need to play.
That's where I was going. Does he need to in this game?
I don't think he does.
I don't think so. The defense, the front line,
isn't good.
Yeah. He's not going up against a Myles Garrett or a Parsons or a TJ Watt or any, even there's no name on that Vikings front line or that Vikings defense that makes you think you need your, all pro star left tackling. This is possibly one of those where you can go, if you're not 100% Trent, sit it out, get 100% for next week.
Yeah, we can throw a blow up tackling dummy. They'll do just
a couple of guys, and we'll just throw Carl Juszczyk in there. He'll play left tackle, right? He plays everywhere else, and he'll be fine.
Who have we got next week after the Vikings?
I think the Vikings. Then it's it's not. Have we got you then? But is that our first game against the Seahawks?
No, that's still too early.
After the bye, isn't it? We get you guys.
Let's see.
Oh, we've only got the Bengals.
You got the Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I actually feel bad for the Vikings because you guys are going to be coming in angry off of that last loss.
Yep.
And
it's Monday night, so we know what.
You guys are going to dismantle this Vikings team.
Could be a bit one-sided.
I would think, looking at who the Bengals have on that line, I'd be wanting to rest him for the Vikings because the Bengals D-line is a lot better than the Vikings D-line.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a slightly short week, Monday night game, They've got to fly back home. There's all that sort of stuff. If there's one game that you kind of go, Trent, if you're 80%, and then yes, he'll want to go out there and strap it up and play through it. Worst case scenario, somebody else rolls on it again, then who knows what situation we're in. That's not.
I think you put him out there though to see what he can do.
Yeah.
I think he plays. I just don't know that he plays all day.
Yeah. I think you give him the first quarter, first half, or whatever pans out. If we end up going down and three drives, put 3 touchdowns, and then it's like, well, Trent, put your foot up. Away you go. That's you done.
I just think the danger that you have is if he one wrong move and he could be out for weeks,
a long time. Because if he's already on that, if it is already a high ankle,
and that's the guy you cannot afford to lose. So. Let him rest.
We can, McCaffrey. Yes, you can plug and play. Mason and Mitchell will do a good enough job. It won't do a McCaffrey type job because McCaffrey has come in and been, lights out. But they'll do enough. And as you say, when we've already said Debo being out, well, you've got Jennings, you've got Ayuk, you've got better route running receivers out there, and we can always scheme some some screens, whatever else for that. We've got enough bodies.
You've still got Kittle. You've still got Kittle there as well. Who's
massively underused.
Purdy's favourite, deep ball at the moment. The deepest ball as he can throw anyway.
I mean, we missed.
I think if McCaffrey's out, you're going to see more. You're going to see more Kittle, I think, today if McCaffrey doesn't play.
Yeah.
More of that safety blanket, more of the shorter passes. So
shorter pass and give it to Kittle, let him run over a few people, which George loves to do. So. And National Tight Ends Day, so he's going to be screaming for the ball.
Yeah,
he's going to want to
he'll probably be wearing one of those T-shirts again, saying "Fuck the Vikings."
Right.
Yeah,
something that
was epic.
That was brilliant. I loved it. I loved that. I mean, it's like, yes, he took the fine, and there were so many Niners fans are like, we'll pay it for you, George. Don't worry. It's like GoFundMe's were springing up everywhere. It's just like he doesn't need to pay that, and it's like he's happy paying that fine. Come on, he's taking that. Everyone now was wearing like a Dallas T-shirt underneath their Niners gear. It's like it's spun off. I mean, I'm sure he's probably got shares in the T-shirt industry.
Sure.
I mean, it was great, and yes, I mean, what the NFL are like. They're going to slamp down on that, but it was.
It's just a bit. The thing is, it's just a bit of fun. I know that it's putting obscenities on T-shirts and stuff. But at the end of the day,
I think it was a
a
personal message that he got fined for, right? It wasn't what the message was. I think it was because it was a personal message. It's not even that the message was that. It was personal to, and it was like, it's not really that personal. It's a homage to, Gary Plummer's T-shirt from the championship games and whatever else. But yeah, we'll take it.
They get nailed for custom cleats.
Yeah, the same reason that Tyreek Hill is. How many fines has Tyreek Hill had so far? Every game he's getting fined for celebrations or cleats or something or other. That was.
He has plenty of money. I'm sure they can all deal with the fines. That's the thing.
They all do. Yeah,
literally,
it's so funny because they have more money than 99% of the people donating to those GoFundMe accounts.
Yeah. So I'll pay $5. And it's like George Kittle's like, I don't even know. It's like barely scratched the surface. It's like the interest he makes on a daily basis.
Drop in the bucket. Yeah.
That's but it'll be interesting. It's going to be obviously an early morning for us over here. We'll be up at Tuesday morning at 1:15 or whatever it is. But after, as you say, it's a get right game. It's possibly the best game for the Niners to be facing in our schedule. Glad it's not an NFC West team because it would be more of a battle. You guys, every single team in the division would be like, right, these guys just lost. Let's kick them while they're down. Let's get absolutely the same mentality. So the fact it's not a divisional game is helpful. The fact it's prime time and it's going against Kirk, that's always good, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's no defense in our division that you walk into that game like, oh, we're going to beat up on this defense.
No.
There's zero defense in it that you want to see in this. Whereas if you're looking at like the Vikings, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, let's do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, I think their D coordinator with their Brian Flores, I think he's a phenomenal D coordinator. So I think he's going to get that defense. He's going to need to get more Jimmys and Joes, right?
Yeah.
But once he does, I think he's really going to have that defense playing at a high level. Because I think
he's the next head coach over there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know who's quarterback going to be though.
Because
it's not going to. It wouldn't be Kurt then, but that wouldn't be a bad move at all. But that's a complete style shift, right? You're going from an offensive minded to a totally defensive minded. That would be
just curious how you feel. We talked earlier about Jason. You guys wanted that high early pick and whatever else. That USC, Caleb Williams pick isn't looking so good now, is it? He wants a portion of the team that drafts him.
He wants a share of the team. He's starting to.
He's lost the last 2 games. They're not looking.
He's annoying a lot of people, a lot of fans, should we say?
Give me Marvin Harrison Jr. all day long, or some defensive piece, and I'll definitely pass on Caleb all day long. Especially since, and this is a great transition, Kyler is coming back. Any predictions about when he'll play? I don't think. Obviously, he's going to be activated before the game today. But next week, I believe we have Baltimore and then Cleveland. So, any predictions?
That's 2 tough defenses.
That's 2 tough defenses there.
So Cardinal Nation, Cardinal fans seems to think it's going to be that Cleveland game. That Cleveland game is in Cleveland. Now, for me, if it was me and my franchise and my quarterback, and if Michael calls and asks me, but he never does, but I'm activating and starting him for that Baltimore Ravens game. It's at home, okay? So he's going to play in front of a home crowd. Do you know how crazy we're going to go when Kyler Murray comes out of that tunnel for the first time since December 12th? Like, holy smokes, that place is going to be electric. 2, the Ravens defense is not the Cleveland Browns defense. He's been activated to practice. Yep.
Okay.
So the Ravens defense is not the Cleveland Browns defense. So you don't want Kyler Murray's first game back after being off almost a year, 10 plus months, to be in the dog pound in front of that defense with Myles Garrett. Yeah. To me, I'm taking the Ravens game all day long.
See, I think it's going to be the Falcons.
I was going to say, take the Falcons game the week after, right?
Yeah, I think
give him the full 21 days.
That would be the full 21-day window.
Give him some real practice with the team.
Because as you say, he's learning how to take it under center and stuff like that. Then
he is, and I say this in the nicest, most respectful way, but can he really do any worse than Josh Dobbs? Honestly.
Well, he can.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Whichever way you do it, it's got to be at home. I think no matter whatever game it is, it has to be a home game. So you're either looking at
next one.
For me, you're looking at either
The
Ravens
Falcons.
or then the
Or
Falcons.
the Falcons, yeah.
Yeah. The Falcons would make the most sense because it'll give him some live reps, right? And he doesn't have to get out there after not taking hits all year and get blasted by, the Browns. Or, because they may not be able to figure it out on offense, but that Browns defense is real. And
absolutely real.
The Bengals will come and hit you. So it's not like that's a walk in the park either. I wouldn't want him to be off for a year and then be like, pat on the ass. All right, go get him, Tiger.
Go get him, Tiger. Welcome to one of the top 6 defenses or top 2 or 3. Yeah, I would. The Falcons game to me seems a more sensible transition. Welcome back to the Arizona faithful. You're at home and it's against a Falcons team that you can guarantee exactly what you're going to get from those.
And you get some real practice time, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of get back up to game speed and, I don't know. If they ran him out this week, that seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
That seems like
that would be
the dude hurt.
Yeah, they're not going to run him out this week, but man, I just want to see him sooner than later.
I was going to question whether or not that was just your sort of slightly cardinal thing. I want to see somebody not Dobbs.
Not even mentioning the Falcons game, which is clearly the best option.
Clearly, you're just like, what's Kyler back? Please,
I was
back.
thinking you just actually secretly hated him, and we're just like, oh no, if we just run him out now, he's just
run him out. Just get him out.
Oh no. No.
Run him out against the Browns and just watch him die again.
Just die.
I'm telling you though, I've only seen him take about three or so hits in his career, like those blow up hits. He just doesn't. You can't catch the little guy. So, but again, it's going to be a completely different game for him. He hasn't taken the ball from under center, and he doesn't turn his back on that defense, like we do in this offense for play action. So, or any play action should be, but. So it's going to be a completely different game for Kyler. But with that being said,
you just cannot wait to see him back, right?
I think he's going to kill it.
Yeah.
I am curious how he will be under center, just because when you take it in a shotgun, you do have a little bit of that head start, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody does come around, you can see him, you can already start moving. When you are within the pocket, deep in the pocket, taking it under center, right? Does he get more of those hits? Because
he takes more because he doesn't see them coming.
Exactly.
And also visibility wise, I know it's tongue in cheek, and I know it's like, as you say, you can't hit the little guy, but you take a 3-step drop from under center, and you've got 6'6", 6'8", 6 foot, whatever offensive lineman standing up and blocking, and you're not the tallest QB. I mean, that's going to be different for him as well. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a different game for him. But again, I think one he's going to master brilliantly.
Yeah, yes,
because he's an athlete. Let's not forget what the athlete that Kyler Murray is.
And it's like a football fan, you want to see him on the field, right? Because he does light up games, and he does make you sit on the edge of your seat and go, "Wow!" Didn't see some of the stuff he does.
And you've seen plenty of what you've got, and you're 1 in 5.
So, 1 in 5, and it's gutsy and it's competent, but it's not giving you edge of the seat moments, is it? Well, maybe it is, but for the
it is
totally wrong
for the wrong reason. But to Gary's point earlier, we all kind of assumed 2 and 4 going in. There's a big difference though, sitting with you guys in August saying we're going to win somewhere between 2 and 4 games, and now being end of October, we're 1 of 5. We're still going to win about 2 or 4 games. Total different feeling saying it in August and saying it now and feeling it and living it and going through it every single week. And,
every Sunday you get up, you put that shirt on though. It's just the Sunday hope, isn't it? It gets us every week. Every week it gets us.
Every week.
Boys, another great show. Love you guys. It's been great chatting with you. Enjoy your Sundays. Enjoy the football. And we'll catch up next week.
You know it.
Absolutely.
Bye for now.
Take it easy, guys.